Hello YouTubers, tonight I'm going to explain what we encountered in our workshop. I guess that's what you can call it. I like to call it Jesus Workshop. You know me, I like putting Jesus in everything, it makes it a little bit better to me. I mean, I just like doing it, because I'm a Jesus freak and, Jesus and freak and Jesus Workshop. So, what we were discussing, we're like working on a book, and it's got a whole bunch of different passages and stuff. And one of the scriptures that came out, when we went halfway through it, there was a little part of it that kind of threw us for a loop. Kind of really made us start thinking, well, what does it really mean? And it was a New King James Version. And so when we got to it, it was like kind of really just started making us thinking. The whole group was kind of really stumped on it. We're like, I wonder what that really means about it. And so I pulled it up on my phone on Bible Gateway. Love Bible Gateway. If you haven't been to Bible Gateway yet, it's about one of the best resources you can use. I always use it because you can bring up different perspectives, all the different versions of the Bible, and there's a lot of them out there. I mean, before I started really getting into church, I didn't realize there was that many versions of it out there. But we were reading the New King James Version, and I always read the NIV version, so I'll read that also. But the message, I pulled it up on my phone and brought it up. The message is what kind of really made us start thinking. It kind of gave us clarity. So right now I'm going to read you the New King James versions. And like I said, I got it on my computer screen so I don't mess it up. I really don't want to mess up God's Word. So I'm reading it off of the screen instead of trying to reciting it, because I would forget parts of it, and then I'll get yelled at by all the people in the comments and everything. Just don't want to go through that and don't want to give false testimony to what it is. Okay, so here it is. The verse was James 4:8 through 10, and so here it is. New King James Version. Draw near to God, and He will draw near to you. Cleanse your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts, you double-minded. Lament and mourn and weep. Let your laughter be turned into mourning, and your joy to be into joy to gloom. Humble yourselves in the sight of the Lord; He will lift you up. See, this the part that we had problems with was double-minded. We were like, man, what could that really mean? I had no idea. Kind of had some doubt. I had some thoughts about it, and then I was completely wrong. So then I pulled out my phone. You gotta love smartphones. You gotta love them or you hate them. It's kind of a double-edged sword. But I pulled it up on my smartphone while we were discussing, because we were like, what does double-minded mean? So here is the NIV version, and this is what I usually go by. Come here to God, and He will come. No, it's come near to God, and He will come near to you. Wash your hands, you sinners, and purify your hearts. You double-minded, grieve, mourn, and wail. Change your laughter to mourning and your joy to gloom. Humble yourselves before the Lord, and He will lift you up. Kind of a little bit more to it, but it still had the double-minded. Remember, that's what was giving us kind of a problem in our group. So, this is the message. So, let God work His will in you. Yell aloud no to the devil, and watch him scamper. Say a quiet yes to God, and He'll be there in no time. Quit dabbing in sin. Purify your inner life. Quit playing the field. Hit bottom and cry your eyes out. The fun and games are over. Get serious, really serious. Get down on your knees before the Master. It is the only way you'll get on your feet. That's really, that's hard hitting. That's deep right there to me. But it clarified what double-minded means. And so I'll read that part again. Quit dabbing in sin. Purify your inner life. Quit playing the field. And that's the part that I think is that clarified double-minded to me. Basically, what I'm reading it as, double-minded means you got a mind of God in Christianity, the kingdom, the mind of kingdom, but you also, the other part of your mind is, of sin. You're playing sin. You're the mind of the world, and so purify your inner life. That means get rid of the other side, the double-minded part, the sin, the world, the worldly part of your mind. You got to get rid of all that, and until I read this passage this way, there's things that you like, kind of like Sunday Christians. Sunday, they're all Christ and everything, but I was preaching to others, look at me, this is what I'm doing. You can spout off scriptures and stuff, but the deep, dark secret, the other side of your mind, you're really a sinner. You do on worldly things that is not of the kingdom. And that's the thing. Can't just say, well, I'll do this, but hey, I don't. It's really hard to give up this. So I'm just going to keep that little bit of the world, but I do the kingdom in this part. You can't do that. You got to be either all or none. You can't just sit there and just like be double. Now this really makes sense. Double-minded. You can't just sit there and 1 minute do that. Well, I can do this and I can do that too. Everything will be all right and I'll go to heaven. To me, it's not that way. You really have to, get rid of the worldly things of this world. And you really, if you look around, it's not really anything you really want to be a part of anymore. With all the sin and everything going around, the persecution of Christians, and they made a game out of that. But I'll talk about that more in another video, probably next week. It takes me a while to make videos. I don't know. My mind, it takes me a while to figure stuff out. But just figure it out enough to put it on video, because it's honestly, talking in front of a camera is not really my thing. But this is what God put into me. Said I had to reach more people, because a lot of people are just not going to churches, and I explained some things about it on another video, and I'll go in more depth about other, more later. But so God told me that I can reach more people through YouTube. And eventually when the weather gets better, I'll be on my bike and I'll be going to places and talking to people. But, you have to live the kingdom. You can't live the kingdom and the worldly things, and having two, your mind separated in two. It has to be all frontal, all in on the kingdom. Jesus, you gotta eat, live, and breathe Jesus, and show other people, because they're judging you by the way you act. The other day, I was I'm a supervisor where I work, and in the supervisor's office there, it was not of kingdom. Normally I would kind of, any other time I'd kind of chuckled and stuff and everything, and it's just, but I don't, just real recently, I just don't want to be any part of it. So I literally got up and walked out, because I don't want to have two minds to it. It's okay at work when you're around everyone else, but it's not okay. I wouldn't listen, or I wouldn't want to listen or say the stuff they were saying in church or with my church family, and that's why I call them now. They're my family. There's family as my mom, my brother, and my dad, and my wife and my son and stuff. They're family to me, because we're all children of God, so we pretty much all have the same, same Father, God, yeah, like I said, I'm a Jesus freak, and I'm starting to really grasp, and what I say is probably strange to a lot of people, but we just got to get rid of the double standard in the way we act, because people are judging us. And it is up to us to spread the kingdom, can't spread the kingdom if you act one way one minute and one way the other minute, because they're like, well, you know, he's no better than me. And it's not, I'm not saying that we're better than people, but they judge us. They judge us every second, every minute of the day for the rest, the rest of your life. People will judge you because we're Christians. They expect differently of us. And if we do the double standard, of kingdom, then turn around, they catch you doing some of the world, because you double-mindedness, because you in your mind, you think, hey, it's okay, I'm a Christian, but, hey, I'm only a half Christian, because, I only believe in some stuff, and I'm only doing, this other stuff's hard to get rid of, it's really tempting. That's the purpose of it. It's supposed to be tempting to distract you, but we have to be better as Christians, the follower of God, in spreading the kingdom. And the only way you're going to spread the kingdom is by being an example. And for the longest time, I really didn't realize that until, recently, that I have to change everything from when I'm out in the public, when I'm out and when I'm in my house, how I act outside, how I act at work. I really working on it. I let some choice words come out of my mouth for me, because I worked in construction and I worked in factories before that, and that's all you hear, and so it's kind of hard for me to stop, and I'm really trying to stop, but I'm committing myself to being one-minded, and my mind being on the Lord, and by me being powerful in the words of I guess not powerful, but maybe being deep in the words of God. Yeah, that's a better way of saying it. Deep in the words of God, people will see me and say, you know what? Maybe I should ask Him and receive the Lord. And that's the whole thing. That's the whole reason I'm doing that. That's the whole reason you should be out there in the communities, at your work, even in the bathroom, If you're doing unworldly things there, or saying something, or turn around and say, hey, look, you freak, that's, of the world. You have to be of God the rest of your life, every second of the day. And you can't just be a Sunday Christian. You can't be a Sunday, Wednesday Christian, or any other day that you do it, or just be a Christian when it suits your needs. You have to be Christian 24/7, 365 for the rest of your life. You have to work for it and get rid of the double standard, the double-mindedness on it, and just be completely one-minded on God and spreading His kingdom. And miracles happen. You just have to work for it. I'm working for it. It's hard. It really is. And you just have to be stronger than the worldliness, the sin that's out there trying to pull you down to their level, because you're of God's level. You're of you're trying to be more like Christ. I know I am. I'm trying to be more like Christ, and just I guess the lack of me not thinking of anything. I guess we are. We're a level. A level of where God wants us to be, and then the rest of the world is lower than that. Because they might not know better. They might have been taught, or they just don't really care. But you have to care in yourself, and you have to care enough for the other person to be examples of Christ. And till next time, this is Christ Crusader 3.0. You can hit me up on a Gmail, Christ Crusader 3.0 at gmail.com. Like this video, and until next time, God bless you.